Hey, everybody, this is Mickey G. Rodney and I continue our discussion on our history in the job market. Hope you enjoy this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
That's why I told my assistant when I was getting ready to leave, I said, don't let no resume intimidate you. I said, I don't care where you go, they're gonna have to train you. It don't matter. You don't do this here and then think you can just walk in over there and do it. They're gonna have to train you. So don't let. I said a lot of times they fill those resumes with stuff that you might think would be impossible for you to do, and you get in that job, you ain't gonna do half of that. I said, so don't let, because I was letting her know up front when I was getting ready to get up out of there, and I said, you need to go on the website there and look for some jobs. I'll give you recommendations and all that. She goes, I didn't really see nothing I can do. I said, you can do any one of those jobs. If it's not asking you to be a lawyer, a doctor, or something, or engineer, or something like that, you can do those jobs. And you can probably do those other jobs too, but they need a resume, a higher education degree on that.
Right.
And I said, don't let no job intimidate you. I said, hell, even if you get there and you can't do it, then get another job. If you get it. So, but if you can get the job, that tells me you got some acumen there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was with, once again, being in the right place at the right time. When I started, my first job was with the Air Force, and then I saw this opening came up with the VA for a higher grade. I said, I'm going to apply for that one. Well, once again, the good thing was the HIPAA program had just started. Mm-hmm. So there was nobody out there that could say, I have 10 years. The law was passed in 96 and the law didn't take effect in 2002. That's right when I retired. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like there was people out there with 10 years of experience. So about all you had to do was say that you were working in the program. Well, I was working in the program.
Right.
And I went to do my interview, and the guy that interviewed me said, we don't get a lot of people who come in to interview that have actually been working this program. It's such a new program. And I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, well, I've only been doing this 6 months. I don't know hell what I'm doing. But if you want to hire me pay me more money, I'll come work for you. But
yes, sir.
I'm like, yeah, I've only been doing it like 6 months myself, and I still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it wasn't about, like I say, being to say I've done this for 10 years, or I did this in the Air Force. I'm just transitioning to the same basically job, but, in the civilian world, it just wasn't those kind of situation. Was my 6 months was probably 6 months more than most people who interviewed.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So yeah, man, that's what I instilled in my boys. Don't be afraid of no job. Get in there, because half the people who are in those jobs, that's how they got in there and learned. I mean, really, to be perfectly honest with you, most of those jobs were on the job training until they had to let everybody get an equal chance. Then that's when all the requirements came in. You got to have higher education and all this, Yeah.
And that's when a lot of them jobs, when people, and there was a lot of them was military people, civilian, transferring to the civilian sector, when they would go in and do those resumes and say, you got to have 10 years of experience in X. Mm-hmm. Well, they know there was only probably 2 people in the world that's got 10 years experience in X, and one of them is that person that's going to apply for the job, kind of thing. So yeah, but if you get those kind of jobs that are a little bit more generic, they gonna train you on how they do things.
Exactly.
So sometimes they want you to be maybe not already, sort of got some kind of, old process in your mind that you don't want to change. They want somebody to come in with an open mind that they can, hey, this is how we do it.
Exactly.
Forget about how you did it over there or whatever. This is how we do it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, but thank God it all worked out.
Yeah.
And,
and I guess the thing that I always look back on it worked out, you hear all all the, people out there tell you, "You gotta have a plan. You gotta have a
Oh,
plan, a
man.
step big, I mean, you gotta have a plan." I'm thinking, I ain't never had a plan, but it just
Nah,
all worked out.
that's
I'm
right.
not gonna even try to lie and say, "Oh, I had it all planned out. I went to this A and B, I did B and C."
Mhm.
No, I
That
ain't
ain't
had none of that.
that ain't the average Joe. They the only plan you need is the plan to try to work and
Yeah,
and get in there and show your wares and that's basically how people get promoted on up the ranks because you get in there and show. That's why this old lady one time told me when I was working at the courts, "Oh, well, you got it made, affirmative action." I said, "Listen, well, affirmative action ain't never got me no job, and it ain't never kept me no job." And because you got to get in there and show. I don't care what you do, how you get in the door. Staying in the door is the main thing,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
got to have some capability to be able to do that. So get in there and learn your stuff, and hope you don't run into no butthole.
Well, yeah, that's always the thing. You got to get in there and do the best job you can, and hope you get somebody that's going to be fair,
Yeah,
and not look at you walking through the door saying, "I'm going to do whatever I can to get you out of this job."
exactly.
Because probably there was somebody else that I wanted anyway, but
Hmm.
they sort of made me hire you, kind of thing. So yeah, you got to have somebody that's going to be fair about things, and then you got to show them that you bring something to the table.
Hmm.
You can't just show up every day and say, "I'm here." You got to bring something to the table too. And if you do those things, you know, you'll hang around. You'll
Oh
hang
yeah,
around for a long time because
exactly.
you get to a point to where they where they need you. So,
Hmm.
but that's what you got to do. But yeah, I'm same way. Don't back off just because it ain't got your name written on the job description. You can make what you've done fit the job description. You just
That's
got
right.
to, sometimes it takes a little bit of writing skills to make that happen. But
Oh
other
yeah,
than that, yeah, you can make what you've done fit that job.
that's right. Which is what you should have anyway at that point. Some writing skills and some
Yeah,
some uh, being able to make conscious decisions and that kind of thing. Have a good, decent judgment. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I'm just saying. I know as someone, if I'm hiring, I don't want somebody I got to babysit everything. There are certain things you have to uh, get assistance from a higher level, but at a certain point, as long as it's authorized, you can just go ahead and show some initiative and get stuff done
yeah,
without asking. Because a lot of people in supervisory positions don't know nothing about being a supervisor. They want you because that makes them feel important. But they want you to come and ask them a bunch of stuff that's very easily you could have deduced yourself.
right, right.
I The last person I worked for, she's like, "Well, you normally don't ask me." I'm like, "You damn right I don't." I'm asking you this now because I'm not going to sign this. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you get people like that are in position, and you always wonder how the hell did you get this job?
exactly.
But then again, like you say, usually somebody they know,
Yeah. Oh,
kind of
hell yeah.
thing. But yeah, you always get those kind of scenarios where you have people you just wonder how the hell did you ever get this job?
Yeah. Yeah. Sit there. Hell, the organization I worked for in the military, hell, I had a budget of over $1 million and had 10 people under me, and you sitting here struggling with five with with a budget not even close to that. So I was like, man, come on, but you know everything because you're a lawyer.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I swear, man, it takes all kinds of maneuver in this world.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing.
That's why when I know I needed my job to take care of my family. I bite my tongue back in the day, but once I figured out You all right. The mouth started running, been running ever since.
Yeah. But see, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You gotta get to a point to where they know they need you
Mhm.
a lot more than probably you need them at that point. So when you
Exactly.
get to that point, yeah, you can say those kind of things. You know, you can't walk through the door saying that, in
Right,
most
right.
situations. But when you get to that point, yeah, when you know that they need you just as much, if not more, than you need them, you can say those kind of things because they want you. They want to keep you there, and they're more willing to sort of take more, if you will,
Yeah,
when you get
yeah.
to that situation. But you got to be able, once again, I always say, you got to be willing and able to play the game.
That's it.
You got to know what the game is. You got to be willing to play the game so you can stick around because that's what you got to do. You could be humble. You could be, yeah, okay, all right. You get all that down, and then you say, okay, now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now you need me.
Mhm. There you go. So it's all about leverage, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
This whole life, whole livelihood is about leverage, man, you know. That's why I told my sons, I said, I ain't saying you got to do everything. I said, but make yourself indispensable. You
Hmm.
know, if some training coming up, volunteer for it. Yeah, I'll do it. You know, the more you make yourself indispensable, the more they ain't gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I was the same way. They'd have these little seminars and things. I said, if nothing else, it can be a little bit more resume filler for that next job if I need to go get one.
That's it.
They want to see that you've gone to this training and that training kind of thing. I said, you just never know. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
That's
You
right.
might be thinking today, I don't need that. Well, you don't know what tomorrow you might need it.
That's right.
So go in there and sit down and get your little certificate and walk out and put
That's
that on
right.
your resume. It ain't
That's it.
hard.
That's
It
it,
ain't hard.
man. Yeah, because I took a lot of the computer courses that they offered up there. Didn't bit more use them in a law man in the moon, but I had it on my resume there.
That's right.
And
That's right. That's sometimes that's really about all it does for you.
yeah,
Because you probably ain't gonna use that in whatever you're gonna be doing. But yeah, it's good to show that you've gone and got the training and know the background so you can maybe if you need to talk the language a little bit, you can talk the language.
that's right. That's right.
So
Just enough to be dangerous,
yeah.
you know?
Yep, yep, yep.
So I still got some work going on here at the house, but I'll be here.
Yeah. What are they doing for you now?
Well, they're coming in next week to uh, from where they did my, I had to call Ramjack in to lift my house up.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Well, then they went in through my uh, breakfast nook to the breakfast bar, and
Uh-huh.
they had to tear out the ceramic tile. Uh, I didn't really ask them what was going on, but I think they were just trying to see if anything in the interior had messed up,
Mhm.
and it didn't. So, but then they cracked more tile. Then they pulled up, and to do that, so I got a guy coming in. Is it next week to do the tile? Well, I got the house is what 20 something years old.
Right.
So I didn't find the tile that I had. So
Been there and done that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I got I got Rosalind I said, so if they to do the breakfast nook, they gotta do the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah, I do the kitchen. Then I started looking, I said, well, do we want two different types of tile in the house? I said, well, maybe we need to go down that hallway and go down that hallway. Man, I was like, I slept on it tonight. I said, the hell with all that. You can have a different set of tile in the kitchen and breakfast nook. I ain't finna replace all this. Ain't nothing wrong with the rest of it.
Mhm.
So we're having that done, and
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, same thing happened to us. We had hardwood in the kitchen, and it's such a high traffic area. It just seemed
Yeah,
like it was always dirty. We'd mop the floor, and we had this stuff we put on it. It just seemed like it was always always dirty. I told man, I said, we need to go to tile. I said, it holds up. I know there's that chance of it cracking and stuff. I said, but I think the house
Mhm,
is probably settled because ours is 20 years old too. I
mhm,
said, I think it's probably settled that we should be okay with that. So we did the tile, and the little hallway leading down to the bedrooms on that side of the house was still in hardwood. So I said,
mhm,
well, there's tile in the kitchen. We'll do tile down that little hallway to make it consistent. So I had a few pieces out in the garage. So I went out in the garage and got them, brought them in, and started sort of laying them out for the guy. And he said, "Nah, you ain't got enough to do this whole hallway." I
mhm.
said, "No problem. I'll just go get some more." They don't make no more.
Exactly.
And I went around, I said, "Well, maybe if I can get close even," and
Yeah.
I went out and searched on the internet and said, "Maybe there's, you know, some Ollie's or some
Mhm.
bargain place that may have some just out of the humbug that, the tile store would just wanna get rid of." Man, I couldn't find that stuff nowhere, so I
Yep.
started looking at, can I find something close?
Yep.
If somebody looked at it and say, "Well, no, that all looks like the same thing," and I looked and I looked. I matter of fact, I had a piece of the tile kept in the car. So whenever I'd go in, I'd take it in and look.
Yep.
I went to Home Depot, I went to Lowe's, I went to Tile World, I went everywhere I know to go.
Mhm.
Couldn't find anything that really looked, uh, even I
Close.
wouldn't say similar, but it was just wasn't close enough that I liked it. We
Mhm.
liked it.
Hey, bro, can you hold on just 1 second?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Vic?
yeah.
Alright. Yeah, man. Hey, bro. That's at 68 years old, I had to
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask, "Is everybody okay?" But
Yeah.
okay, I was like,
Yeah.
well,
Hey,
you're okay now,
yeah,
right?
everybody's okay right
Okay,
now.
now, okay. But anyway, yeah, I couldn't find no towel that came close, so we just said, let's just stain that, hardwood that's in that little hallway the same as the living room and the little hallway going into the master bedroom. I said, "Yeah, there's hardwood, there's tile, and there's more hardwood," but I said, I can't find anything closer. Yeah, I know about that, going to look, and they don't make it no more.
Yeah, man. This dude brought in I didn't realize how heavy them damn towels was either. He brought in, uh, several samples and,
Mhm.
we were trying to decide on we almost went with, this grayish one that looks like, it would match the decor of the backsplashes and all that kinda stuff.
Right,
And then I was like, "Man, this'll darken the room." We got that honey oak cabinetry,
right.
and, I'm like, "We need to." There's a reason why we went with white the first time, to lighten it up. So we ended up going back with another white, but it's different because we couldn't after 20 years couldn't find nothing remotely close
Yeah,
to
yeah.
what we had. So they gonna come in and do that. It's like all this happening at one time, and had my windows, and then I got the idea I was thinking. I was like, well, damn, you know, uh, stuff go wrong. I just go ahead and get it done, right? And I'm not even thinking. I was sitting up here. I was thinking about all the money that I spent just this year. I'm gonna call my insurance company there. I'm finna file a claim on some of these homeowners that I'm paying every year.
Mhm.
My homeowner's insurance went up. Boy, I was like, well, damn, I might as well still be paying a mortgage, you know? And, so I'm gonna go ahead and file it. I'm not gonna file my windows on there. I was planning to. I said, no, I don't want y'all coming back with no shenanigans because I had them replaced. And she's like, well, first, when I talked to the claims department, they wanted to know well, when did this start happening? I said, well, it's been a gradual thing. I can't exactly tell you when it happened. Well, we would need to have that. I'm like, well, I'm not going to even speculate because I don't want y'all to say I tried to defraud you and shit.
Right, right.
So I was like, well, I'll eat that one. But this ramjack and then this tile, I'm going to go ahead and claim that
Yeah, yeah.
and go from there. But it's been a wild thing. Even the windows, the dude messed up on one window and didn't get the right size. So I've been waiting for about a month and a half for him to come back. And of course, you know how they do. They want you to pay half down I ain't finished paying him. I was like, when you finish, I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was telling Rosa, she said, "Have you heard from the guy?" I said, "No, I haven't heard from him." I said, "You know what? I hope I don't." I'm like, that's just one window by the entryway. I can live with that. I hope he don't call back for the rest of his money and get my window done. I'll wait and see, you
Uh,
know. And but yeah, they that and just everyday thing, man. You know,
yeah, well, you know what? A house is always something.
it's always something.
Always something. And I know when we had our windows replaced, we had a couple of them come out. And we went with Pella, and the guy came out. Well, we make our own windows, and we have our
Right.
only factory trained installers, and everybody can install them. Blah 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 blah. Man, he placed that big uh, picture window thing in the dining room.
Mhm.
Walked in there one morning, man, it was a river in there. I'm
What?
like, "What's going on?" The called them back out, and there was like a flange on the windows that was
Mhm.
missing and that they didn't catch. So after they got it in, got it caulked up and everything, yeah, it was leaking like a sieve when that rain came.
Mm.
They had to come back, take the window back out again, get the one that had like the flange around it and put it back in and stuff. So I'm like, y'all talked about how these
Mhm.
installers are factory trained and they're the best
Mhm.
that you can get. And you can't hire just anybody to do it, blah, blah, blah. Now not only have I got water, I got water on my hardwood floor now,
Mhm.
so they had to reimburse me for that. So yeah, it just, like I say, it's always something.
It is, man. Hell, I went out uh yesterday and I done got hooked on this uh sweet tea.
Mhm.
And so I was getting down low. I said, "Yeah, let me go get me some tea." So I went out, come back, and as I was walking to the back door, I noticed water running under my from under my freezer out there. I was like, "What the hell is that?" So I looked at it and I touched the side. It was hot. And I'm like, "What the hell?" And then I grabbed the door to open it. Hell, the door was open.
Oh,
And luckily, Rosin had gone out there. This was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And she had gone out there about 1 to get something out to cook it, right? And she said, "I know I closed that door." Well, come to find out, the door is just, I mean, it's not staying sealed
mhm, mhm.
because when I closed it and then I went back out there to show her because I thought she had left it open. And she goes, "No, I wouldn't do that. I know you wouldn't do it purposely, but I'm just saying the door is open." I walk back out there, the door is open again. I was like, damn. So we start uh, checking the meat. Now, wouldn't you know, she just went to the commissary, which we always
Oh, wow.
keep it stocked up, right?
Right, right.
This some bitch is full. It's down there now. We couldn't empty it all the way because the freezer in the house couldn't hold all of it. So we she taped it up after she was getting it out because I was on the phone, man. You can't get nothing without you call these people, man. They got these answering services, and then they want you to
Mhm.
set up. I was like, damn, can you talk to a damn person that just say, come out and take this? I don't care, 24/7. I was called everybody that had advertised 24/7 on there. Don't do 24/7 no more. Uh, so uh, emptied it out and got as much as in the freezer as we could, and then taped the door. It shut.
Uh-huh.
And then I checked it, been checking it during the day. The box has cooled down, so that tells me there's a problem with the door. So I got a guy coming out tomorrow at noon to fix it. I was like, I get so sick of these. You gonna come out tomorrow, and if you tell me it's my door, of course you ain't got no door on the truck. I was like, well, let me tell you what kind it is, and maybe you can bring a door. You know. So I know it's gonna be one of them. Well, we're probably gonna have to order. She said, "Well,
Ordered. Yeah.
yeah." She said, "Well, it might just be the hinge that needs to be replaced." I'm like, "Boy, that would be nice." But, that is a good thing we keep some duct tape around this sucker 'cause I I would have been out a whole lot of more meat there. We 'cause
I
that
heard
that happened
that.
one time. We had to it was like overnight, everything was thawed. I was like, "Oh my god." Ron said, "Well, I think it'll be alright." I said, "I think you better put that in the trash."
You don't want no toe mein,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So,
Ah.
uh, I was 'cause she keeps all of the meat out there pretty much. She keeps a couple of little things on the inside. I said, this is a freezer too." But I ain't never thought about it because we ain't never used it because it's always been out there. But I'm like,
Yeah,
"This sucker ain't got no capacity down here to hold any kinda quantity of meat."
right.
And, so, yeah, he coming out tomorrow. So, I'm just like, "Okay, I ain't no need of whining about it. Thank God you can handle it, so handle it."
Handle it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it comes down to. You just blessed that you're able to take care of it, and like you say, not have to worry about something else. So, but yeah, like you say, it's always something going on. But then again, that's life. I always say, yeah, it's going on, but there's could be far worse. You
Oh, yeah.
always just have to sort of keep things in perspective. And keep, as they say, keep moving. That's
Yep.
all you can do. That's
That's
all
it.
you can do.
And I was telling myself too, I was like, "Well, hey, there's that one commercial or that I see on television sometimes. It's to have it better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it," or some
Have it.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, "Well, there's a whole lot of truth to that."
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
Yeah, it is.
so,
But like you said, that makes it somewhat easier that at least you can take care of it and keep moving.
yeah,
It's a lot of people unfortunately can't do that. So yeah, it makes you feel good that you can do that.
that's right.
Yeah.
And then it just shows me too how quick, you know, when you procrastinate, how quick can add up, just succession, boom, 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 boom. If it was one of them where, oh, I'll get around to it or I'll save some money up, man, all of a sudden all of it pile on top of you, man. So I was like, well, thank you, Lord. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
That's all you can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, where y'all going on your vacation, man? That's what I was going to ask you real quick.
We're going to Spain and Italy.
Oh, y'all on another cruise then, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna go over to Barcelona and get on a boat.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's where we're going. We're gonna be gone almost 2 damn weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go over and do that. Y'all gonna have to start coming on these vacays with us, brother.
Hey,
It
bro,
ain't that you can get on that plane. It ain't that bad.
man, get on, get on, get on that plane, and then, I got to the mouth of the Mississippi in the Gulf and said, "Hey, turn around."
And the way tell you the truth, way these planes been falling out of the
Oh
sky.
man.
There was one in my not my hometown, but a little small town right out. Well, matter of fact, where my mom and dad grew up in a town called Viola. I
Mm,
was in McMinnville yesterday. They said there's a reports that there might be a plane that went down in Viola. I said, really? So I didn't think nothing about it. Got back home and turned on the news. There's been a plane crash in Viola, Tennessee, and all this stuff. I'm like, oh wow, two brothers. I think one was 68 and one was 65.
man,
Uh, going out taking a stroll, and I don't know what happened. They said somehow they went and they gotta have some money because they had their own private airstrip where they live
mhm,
at.
mhm.
Took off and clipped a tree, and that was it.
Damn. Yeah,
So,
well, that's just like with that B-52 that went down. I mean, when's the last
yeah,
time I was just sitting up thinking about this son of a bitch up there spending all the money on all his little gratification thing. I bet you training is suffering, man, because 'cause there's been more, military planes falling out the air than a little bit, so that's taking money away from, training.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what caused that. Because I said, "Well, shoot, it shouldn't be anything to do with the engines because got 8 of them. You think if 1 or 2 of them went out, they'd be okay." So it's gonna be interesting to see what happened with that. And then there was that one, I guess it was yesterday, that millionaire tech guy that plane crashed onto the highway out there. He was the only one killed. But I don't try to think about that stuff since I'm gonna get on one. I'm gonna be on it for a long time going across that water. So I try not to think about that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's where we're going. We're going over there, going over there. So yeah, I think it's gonna be nice. I think it's gonna be real nice. Yeah, it puts a whole new perspective on things when America is celebrating 250 years of existence and you visit countries that have thousands of years of history and have architectural designs like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Colosseum, and these amazing cathedrals and basilicas that were all constructed by hand. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition. Join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.